Hi guys, I promised you a funny video and I was going to wait until I got to a cafe or somewhere to sit down and write things down, so excuse me if I forget some of the funny stuff because there's been lots of funny stuff, but I will update you if I do remember stuff that I haven't told you in this video. So yeah, I suppose it's just funny slash nearly dying, don't mean to be too dramatic. But the first funny thing, I suppose, in chronological order, if I think back to when I left on the 11th of June, and yeah, I flew into Biarritz, and it was funny because I got off the bus in Biarritz and I was down at the beach, literally got off the bus, I was only a few minutes from the airport, and all I heard, I had my headphones in and I was walking up with a big rucksack up from the beach, and all I heard was, "Hello, Mr. Connor, hello!" And I saw some ex-5th years, they're going into 6th year, so big shout out to those guys. It was nice to see you, and yeah, we had a good time, had a good chat, and they got in one of the video vlogs, so that's cool. So the second funny thing, I suppose, was, well, it wasn't so much funny at the time, but it was when I went to a place called Saint-Jean-de-Luz, and I was actually in the wrong Saint-Jean. You're supposed to start the Camino in a place called Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. So, bit of a wally, that's why video number 4 is called Seamus is a Wally. I was walking around like an Egypt, big Irish Egypt, and I couldn't find my hostel. No wonder, because I was in the wrong place. But I ended up having to book into a hotel. It was getting late and it cost me 80 euros. So I was like, that's too much, I can't afford it, but I had to because otherwise I'd be sleeping rough. So basically, I booked into a hotel, had a shower, I was wrecked, and walking around, I noticed that I was in the wrong Saint-Jean, and I asked someone and they said, Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port is where you start the Camino and you're like miles away. And I was like, uh-oh. I said, how far away? They said about an hour on a train. So I was like, oh no. So in my naivety, I suppose, I thought there was only one Saint-Jean. By the way, guys, there's tons of Saint-Jeans in France, so just be careful. So I asked them, they said there's no trains till the morning. I said, how much is it in a taxi? 300 euro. So I thought, I'm not doing that. So I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning to get 2 trains to get to the real Saint-Jean, well, when I say real, the main start point of the Camino Frances, which is Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. So that's the second funny thing. The third thing, I suppose, if I don't forget anything else, is when I nearly got killed by a bull. It sounds dramatic, but I actually did. The running of the bulls happened on about my 4th day in a place called Los Arcos, and what happened was I wasn't taking part in it. To be honest, I know people are going to dislike this, but I don't care. I think bullfighting is cruel. People say it's a tradition. I think some traditions should change if they're cruel to animals, and what I witnessed was really cruel to the poor bulls. They were distressed, they were falling around. But anyway, the bullfight, or the bull running, they run the bulls around the town and they kind of intimidate them and agitate them, and most people are behind big barriers, like wooden barriers. But I decided, the bull, I thought it was finished, and I jumped the gate to get a sandwich because I needed some food. But unbeknownst to me, the bulls were still running, they had just taken a break. And this Spanish man was antagonizing this bull, and next thing I know, the bull's running for me. The Spanish guy's obviously used to jumping out of the way. He jumped out of the way and the bull was coming for me. And I was like, oh my god, I thought I was going to die. And it was literally, I'm not exaggerating, like about 3 feet from me with massive horns. And I had to jump this 7-foot wooden gate to survive. And no offense to the Italians, but there was these group of Italians and they wouldn't move out of the way. They were in the way, so I couldn't get out. And I was like, please get out of my way. And they just stood there like headless chickens, and the bull was running for me. So eventually I managed to jump the gate, but I tell you something, my heart was pounding. I nearly died. The next funny thing, again, I probably forgot other things, but was where I nearly got in trouble because I had a bottle of beer one of the days about 2 weeks ago, and I was drinking it, minding my own business, sitting there relaxing in the shade, and I turned away for a couple of seconds, went to pick up the beer, bottle of beer, and something told me to just check the bottle of beer, and I looked inside, and wasn't there a wasp inside the bottle of beer? So maybe he was dead, maybe he wasn't, but I don't know. If he stung me in my throat, I could have, my throat could have swollen up, and I could have possibly choked to death. So that was lucky. What's the next thing? Oh, the next major thing, there's little things, but the next, I suppose, funny thing is, well, funny now, but it wasn't funny at the time. I ended up in hospital because I got stung. You can probably see my hand. I got stung about 30 times. I'm not going to show you everywhere, but my knees, on my feet, everywhere, by some sort of insects, maybe mosquitoes or ants, or tropical sort of, well, I'm in Spain, so maybe not tropical, but some sort of things. But I had an allergic reaction, and my left eye swelled up, whereby I woke up at 3:30 in the morning. I couldn't see anymore out of my left eye, it was that bad. And then my left hand just ballooned, and it looked massive. So I wasn't going to go to hospital, foolishly, but then the hostelier, she said, you need to get to hospital quick. And luckily I relented, and I went, and I got very ill in the taxi on the way there. I had to get a taxi because I was up in the mountains. But they put me on a drip, and I stayed in the hospital for about an hour. And thank God, today, good news, it's now Tuesday, the swelling's gone down. So yeah, I'm back on track. And funny stories. The last one I'll tell you, I might update this because I'll probably forget those, but is me being another Wally. I forgot my bank pin, and I put it in wrong 3 times because I was so tired, and blocked the card. And I rang up the bank, and they said it'll take 4 to 5 working days to send out a reminder of your pin. So I've been poor for the last few days, and I've been met a friend from bumped into a guy from England called Liam. Shout out to Liam. And he, God love him, was struggling in terms of cash as well. So we ended up, I had 10 euros to my name for like 48 hours, and I bought him and I a couple of baguettes and some ham. And so it just kind of makes you appreciate having a bit of money. But yeah, so they're the funny stories so far, 24 days in. And yeah, I'll keep in touch. All the best. Bye bye.